What's up, good people?
What's up, good people, and welcome back to the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. It is I, your host, Hark Jos L, CEO of Sons of SP Phillips, and remember, this is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. And as always, dominate or don't, it is totally up to you. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe below, depending on whatever platform you're listening to. It was so good to be back here today. The last two episodes, we had some great guests on the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. If this is your first time, you definitely need to catch up. This is our 15th episode. If you've been along with us for this whole ride, I advise you to please leave some comments, reach out to us on our social media platforms, DM us. Let us know what you think. Leave some comments and even give us some suggestions of some other motivation that you would like to hear. If this is something that we're not covering, something you'd like to hear more of, we'll consider it and we'll do it for you. Because remember, like I said, this is your podcast. Like I said, this is episode 15. Today we are discussing a lesson that will save you time, energy, and unnecessary stress. Trust me, once you take this one to heart, life gets a little bit smoother. But before we get into it, of course, this is brought to you by none other than Sons of SP Phillips. Sons of SP Phillips is an online boutique with new and slightly used designer and name brand clothing for men and women. Also has custom clothing and apparel and accessories for men and women. Go to www.sonsofspphillips.com where you can get up to 70% off on most items, and any order over $45, I pay the shipping for you. You can't lose. Good stuff on there. A lot more stuff coming. If you go to our social medias at Sons of SPP, you'll see some of our new inventory coming up periodically. We also keep some information going on with the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. So follow us, like us, and subscribe, like I said, or you're going to miss out on this stuff. So let's just jump right into this, okay? So years ago, I used to work in special education. And that job taught me a lot of patience, a lot of self-control, and a lot of resilience. Sometimes it taught me that in the hardest ways possible. We worked with a lot of kids who were really incredible, but on some days they could really push your buttons, and they would push them very, very hard. Let me tell you, they knew when you were on edge. They could kind of sense it. If you came in a little uneasy, they'd go for it. And especially if they were a little off kilter, they would really go for it. They would test you. Your mother, your father, your husband, your sister, your wife, or whatever would be every name in the book that they could write. And they would call them that or call you that until they found that one exact thing that could make you snap. And then before you know it, you're in a verbal altercation, debating stuff with a fifth grader or a third grader, going back and forth like you've lost your common sense. We had one of our senior staff members, a guy named John. John had been around for a long time, and he knew exactly how a lot of this played out. Whenever he saw someone getting caught up in an argument with one of the students, he'd walk by, shake his head and say, "Don't wrestle with pigs." Then he'd just keep walking. Now, at first, I didn't fully get that. But over time, I saw exactly what he meant. And it wasn't about the kids. We weren't calling kids pigs. It was about the situation. Engaging in that back and forth, verbal altercation, letting yourself get sucked into the mess, it never ended well. It drained your energy, it left you frustrated, and at the end of the day, nobody really won. Not on the adult side anyway. And here's the thing, that wisdom stretches far beyond the classroom for me. So who is the everyday pig in your life? How often do you find yourself pulled into the pointless arguments? Maybe it's the one coworker who loves starting problems at work, a family member who's always starting up some type of drama, or even strangers online who know exactly how to get under your skin. We've all been there. Someone throws a jab, says something ridiculous, or just pushes your buttons the wrong way. And you feel the urge, that deep burning, that fire to clap back, to prove your point, to win this argument. The reality of it is that when you engage in this type of negativity, you're not winning anything. You're just rolling around in the mud, getting dirty, while the other person enjoys it because they like it there. They love the muck. Some people thrive off of it. Some people love conflict. They feed on the drama. They enjoy dragging others into the mess, and when you engage, you're giving them exactly what they want. So the question is, are you going to wrestle with the pig? So let's figure out how to keep ourselves out of the mud. All right, so let's talk about some action that we can apply to real life. So number one, let's recognize the trigger. Pay attention to what sets you off. If you feel your emotions start to rise, that's your first clue. Step out and step back. Number two, pause before reacting. Don't just start firing off in that text message. Don't get in your Twitter thumbs all sore. Don't respond right away. Take a deep breath, give it a second. Sometimes silence is the best response. A lot of times when you don't say anything, that really irks people. 3, ask yourself, is this worth it? Not every battle is yours to fight. Save your energy for the ones that actually matter. Have an exit strategy. Whether it's excusing yourself physically, stepping away, or just logging off, know how to remove yourself from the situation before it escalates. And lastly, reflect later. Once the dust settles, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? Learning from each situation will help you handle the next one even better. $1 million question. I know you've been waiting for it. What battle in your life have you been fighting that you should have walked away from a long time ago? Let's take a second to really think about this. What arguments, situations, or relationships have been dragging you down, keeping you stuck in the mud? What's the real cost of staying in those battles? And most importantly, how much peace and clarity could you gain by simply letting go? Because here's the truth. Wisdom isn't just about knowing when to stand your ground. It's also about knowing when to step back, when to protect your energy, when to choose peace over chaos. So the next time life tries to pull you into a messy, muddy, murky, sticky fight with a pig, ask yourself, is this really worth it? I hope this message sticks with you, because trust me, learning when to walk away is one of the most important, powerful things that you can do. If this episode strikes a thought, by all means, leave a comment. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe. Follow us on social media at Sons of SPP on all platforms. And always remember, the Elephant Wisdom Podcast is your podcast. This is your podcast for motivation, inspiration, and domination. So dominate or don't. That's up to you. And before I let you go, let me leave you with this one last piece of advice. Pray along the way. Keep your faith strong, keep your peace protected, and never waste your time wrestling with pigs. Thanks for tuning in to the Elephant Wisdom Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Till next time, have a good one.